doors of the trail are open. Come as you are. um, whatever condition that you're in, we can work with it. Um, we can help you get to wherever you desire to be. So just come as you are.
That you're no longer alone. I think that a lot of times when people start running, they feel like even if they show up to a run club and people take off, that you're going to be by yourself. And sometimes you will, but at least for us, and I can speak for the both of us in Sin Miedo, for us, it's been really important to make sure people don't feel alone.
Welcome to the Safe Space Running Podcast, where we're here to encourage, enable, and empower. I have two very special guests on today. We'll talk more about it, but when we were it's funny, we were just talking about it when we getting logistics down for the call. There's people that you meet that you just immediately connect with. And these two, we just connected instantly on the dance floor at TRE as part of RIDC, but I digress. Yolanda and Antoine, thank you guys so much for being a part. How are you two doing today?
Doing awesome. Thank you for having us. It's really great to see you again and to be here, and what an honor to share about what we're doing.
I'm doing well.
It's truly my pleasure to have you guys on because I know, as I was hinting at, TRE, we had the after party. I don't even know if it didn't matter. It was a party,
The
and
cookout.
all of the cookout. Yes, see how the cookout was so lit, and we all was on the floor literally the entire night. I ain't done that in years. And then we had to catch a flight I had to catch a flight very next morning, like 4 a.m. But no regrets whatsoever. It was so much fun connecting with you guys. And to kind of dig into, the meat of the conversation, I wanted to first ask, what do you guys have planned for your fitness and running schedule for this season? You got any big races or
Oh,
anything you're
where
going
do we
for?
start?
We have a long list actually. I guess the most immediate thing we have right now is we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary for Sin Miedo. So we're celebrating that at the end of May. So we'll have kind of a grand event with sponsors and visitors and kind of just welcoming everybody and celebrating all together. And then we just launched a 16-week training for our trail runners, specifically for a 4-part series in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're basically it's the road to a 13-mile trail run. So there's a 4-part series, and it progressively increases over that 4-part series. And then myself, I got accepted to the We Run Long cohort.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, so I'm really excited about that because that's kind of a BIPOC centered, or it is BIPOC centered community driven event in Colorado. But the thing about that is that I haven't really ran at high elevation at this point, so or a 30K. So I've done a half
Mm.
marathon on the trail. I haven't done a 30K. So looking forward to that. It's gonna be an interesting experience.
Yeah, so outside of preparing for that, of course, we're going to be doing the 4-part trail series with our members.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just gearing up for me to do the Every Women's Marathon for the second time in February.
Okay.
So we're going to start working towards that. But it's an interesting combination to balance trail running and road running, and doing these long distances. Antoine was trying to convince me to sign up for a 250-mile race already. I was like, I know you're
It's the
seeing
same
these
with the
ladies
man.
killing it and doing their thing, but no, sir, slow down. And we may or may not, do our first High Rocks competition. I'm still trying to work on convincing Antoine.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
I've
hint,
been
hint,
begging
nudge,
him for
nudge.
years to be my partner. So we'll see. But lots of things, to look forward to, and we're really excited about it.
Awesome. So, which high rocks would you guys be doing if you guys hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, participated to that?
They're gonna have one here locally in Nashville
It's
in
gonna be in
December.
here in Nashville in December.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
So I
So you heard it here first, folks. Hold them accountable.
yes, that's
Tell
what
them you
we're
can
talking.
do it.
See, that's what peer pressure is for. That's what it is. But you
Yes.
guys can
Sounds
definitely
like
do
Chris
that.
wants to come naturally.
I know. It sounds like he was like, wait, which one? You coming?
Look, you guys got Hattie B's down there, so that's
Yeah.
listen.
Hey,
I'm
come
in
on.
Columbus, Ohio, and we don't have nothing close to that. And the first time my wife and I came down to Tennessee, we were coming down from like we're musicians. We are
Yeah.
musicians, and we came down just to check out the music scene and things like that. But of all things we remember, it was definitely Hattie B's, and it was
Nice.
so good. We don't have, like I said, Columbus doesn't. We have some good food here, but we definitely don't have no hot chicken. We had a couple places, nowhere near as good as Hattie B's. So every time I go there or Atlanta, we always have to find a Hattie B's somewhere. That's for sure.
We'll make sure it's right at the door for you. Come
See,
on
see,
down.
you got me. I think you might have me convinced. You actually talked about a 16-week program. I know we had another question, but I kind of wanted to dig into that program that you guys are doing as far as that. Can you describe what you guys are doing for your trail runners? Is that for that?
Yeah, so what we have experienced with our group is that we started with a lot of really I guess we say excited people that have never even ran ever in their life. And
Mm,
progressively over the last year, we've gotten people that are runners, but they're only familiar with road. So then they started trail running and it's like, okay, wait a minute, this is different. And then we have acquired quite a bit of people that are pretty advanced in their running. And whether they were champions of X, Y, and Z because they start listing things and we're like, oh my goodness, what? In their own countries, or they've, done really big races like UTMB. Um, we were like, okay, all of that is fantastic, but when we show up for these races, we got to make sure that we're giving them the tools to be
hmm.
successful, not to just show up and do the race because they can do that and they'll run with us every week. We meet every Sunday and they do that. But for us, it was important that we give them not just like the ticket to go race or like the information because one of our core values is access. And so access looks so different for everybody, right? But for racing and just really embodying that like athlete mentality, we were like, we need to give them access to the tools, and we know that for us it has been really different. So now we have put together a 16-week progressive program where every week, just like we do for road, the mileage will increase. We've given them a blueprint of how to break up the mileage for the week. We've plugged them into local runs or workouts that are already happening in the community inside the BIPOC space for them to have speaking of a safe space, right? A place to go well, that we want them to feel safe there. Not that it's necessarily that, but um, and so that way they're not like, where do I go? Where do I start? And so whatever's left over in between, whether it's schedule related or whatever, that they can figure it out. We were laughing about the whole you were sharing with us about your track workout because today we posted a breakdown of a track workout for them, their first track
Mm.
workout, introducing them to the track and what that can do for you. And of course, because we both have, not just ran on road, but done marathons. And we're like, okay, if we start applying those things and helping them kind of get acclimated. Nutrition, we gave them a nutrition and hydration guide. We gave them a mobility and recovery guide. And of course, it's a lot in the beginning, I'm sure, where they're like, oh, wait a minute, what's happening? But the response has already been really great. And they're like, wow, like, thank you
Mm.
guys. Like, oh my goodness, right? Because for us, once again, I'll say it again, access. And so through the weeks, we're planning on breaking down each part of that in smaller bite sizes week to week and just kind of reminding them of things and, teaching them. I mean, we've had some pretty interesting experiences already with people racing and then not knowing anything about fueling. And of course, we would be like, here, go, shout out to Go as our nutrition partner. And we're like, here you go, this is what you need. And they're like, oh, I don't need that. And we're like, no, but you
Need
really
something.
really
Mm.
do. Like, did you bring your water? They're like, oh no, I don't drink water. I don't do that.
Mm.
And we're like, no, but you need to. And so now, funny enough, the race that we're doing. is the same race we did a year ago with some of the same people that have come such a long way since then that either fainted or almost passed out. And they were like, "We're so sorry, should have listened to you." And now they're teaching
Mm,
someone else. And so, in a nutshell, that's kind of what our goal is with the 16-week program. And then obviously, you know, tightening it up and cleaning it up as we go, and this being something that we offer every season for BIPOC athletes that just don't have the tools, the maybe the reach or the connections, and of course the access to make it happen. These type of things cost so much money within the running space, and some people
mm-hmm,
just can't do it, you know. And on top of that, we want them to buy shoes, and we want them to pay for races, we want them to get the right gear. And so through that, we're hoping that we can partner with the right brands that have, you know, their heart set on serving our communities, and hopefully that we can in the future provide the gear, pay for the races, get them
mm.
there, you know, all those things. That's really where our heart is. But we were like, let's start with something, and we may or may not have, you know, almost choked each other in the process. Uh, but nothing but love, nothing but
Yeah.
love. No, no, I'm kidding. So yeah, that's kind of what we have going
Access can be a barrier. And I think that's for one, you guys are dope for that reason because we've all seen it, especially for people of color and the people who are not always represented into this space. Access is so can really prevent somebody from doing something that shouldn't really cost that much. Running is and walking is just one foot in front of the other, but there's so many barriers, whether it be cost and access. Shoes are expensive, races are expensive, and training can be expensive. And again, this is not a knock to professional trainers who are out there. I always kind of relate it back to my journey as a musician. When I first started learning, it was $30 a week for one lesson at 30 minutes. And this is while I'm in college. I'm like, this is gas money for the week. Like, I can't
on.
pay
Right.
for this. This is how I need to get to work, clear across town, an hour drive. Like, this is my legit gas money. And I've always taken that back to how the community should be approaching running for access for others, and it makes me so happy to hear that that's what you guys are doing, because a 16-week plan is a big commitment for you both to not only train yourselves but to train others. Like, that's a big deal, so I applaud you for that. And before I go too far into that, we talked about it already, but as part of this program, you guys are going into your first year of Sin Miedo Trail Running. Hopefully, I got that right. I'm sure I didn't because words are going to word for me, but it speaks about what you guys have created as part of this program. So to kind of piggyback into, it sounds like this has evolved over time, for this trail group and things like that. But I want to take it back to its roots and ask you both, what was the reason behind starting this group?
You want to share how we got here?
Yeah, so this started essentially with the RIDC.
Mm,
So I applied for the cohort Freedom to Run Back Outside cohort with the RIDC, and got picked out of what 250 or so people, surprisingly. Yo was also supposed to apply, but she kind of
What had
just
happened was
she kind of just blew it off.
I didn't think he was serious because remember, this space is always looking like it's not for us, right? And we'll
yeah.
get to that, but that's why I didn't sign up, to my defense. Go
Mhm. And then also a friend of ours, Gabe, here locally, signed up for, and he was accepted to the cohort also. Cohort also. So essentially, me and Yo, I drug her along with me to the trail,
ahead.
and we started to go and join existing trail running communities. And we got to a particular community, and with every community we saw in the area, we were the only people of color.
Mm,
Um, so we had several friends that had been inviting us to the trail for years,
And we kept saying
and we
no.
kept saying no essentially because we didn't
We're like,
we didn't do
I'm
trail.
not doing
We
that.
were
No
we
what?
were road runners. Didn't want to get hurt, didn't want to mess up a training cycle, any of that. But kind of all the same excuses that we hear now. But we essentially invited all of those friends that had previously invited us, and they showed up. So it was probably what it was seven of us on the first day,
Mhm.
and We ran, what, 5 or 6 miles on the trail. And then at the end of that, um, Theo and I pretty much looked at each other and decided that we wanted to start a BIPOC-centered trail running community. So
It was
that was kind of
pretty organic, because going back to a little bit of what he was sharing when we were showing up for these trail runs. For one, I will be completely transparent. I had no interest in staying in the trails. When we got married, in our vows, we said, where you camp, I camp. And so through the years, we used that against
oh
each other. We say, where you trail run, I trail run. Remember?
yeah.
When I did my marathon, my first marathon, I said, remember where I marathon, you marathon. You're supposed to do this with me. So we do this to each other. And he did, and he
I
did.
did. And I
So
had
then,
just run the Chicago Marathon, what, 2 weeks before.
yeah. And so he used that against me,
Yeah.
because, payback, I guess, and was like, remember where I trail run, you trail run? I was like, I guess. But what was really memorable, and I always like to share this part because sometimes we think, especially in living in the South, right, in Nashville, we think that somebody has to come up to you and say something specific to feel that, heaviness of not fitting in or belonging, right? It's more the belonging than the not being welcomed, because that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But in the middle of that, when we kept coming back in the beginning, just myself, Antoine, and Gabe, shout out to Gabe Marrero, who kept showing up with us. Um, and one of the people there looked at us and said, "Hey, y'all are back." And we're like, "Yeah." He said, "Y'all ain't had enough yet?" In that country twang, And I was just like, "Hold on a minute, get my hoops." And I was like, no, we haven't, and we're not going to. And Anton looked at me like, wait, really? Because 5 minutes ago you were like, I'm not coming back. So then when we did get to run with our friends and saw their smiles and being like, oh, we belong here together. Look how cool this is. We were like, oh, okay, this is so much bigger. We had no idea. Like the second we moved that needle, how fast it was going to happen. We had
Wow.
a group, a Instagram, all the things in place, a logo, all the things in place really quickly. We put so much intent into the logo for it to mean something. And then as people started to come, we realized that a lot of these people had just forgotten that they belong, that there is someone out here wanting to create a safe space for them to show up to. But also, some of them forgot they were athletes. I mean, we hear some of our members have been, like I said it earlier, they've, placed in so many things. We had somebody come in the
Oh, wow,
Olympics, like they had a tattoo of it and
yeah.
everything. They're like, but when I
Wow.
come to the US, I just work, always working, always doing things. And so that really was the moment where I think everything started to pivot and we were like, we can't stop. And every time we would consider like, well, maybe we're just doing too much, who knows if during the winter people are going to come. We'll see. And oh my goodness, if they show up, they were trying to, they calling us like, are we running?
In the snow,
In the snow,
off the trail.
in the freeze. People still went out to run. We had a really big freeze here in Nashville just this last February, and we didn't even go out. And we canceled the runs, and we're like, guys, it's not safe. And they were like, okay, no problem. And then they're like putting stories and stuff, tagging us, like we out here running. I'm like, oh my but at the same time, I was like, wow, like these people have really embodied this, and they're really runners now, and it's just incredible to see them start with. We have a member who swore to us she would never ever run. Like she's like, can I still come though? And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like, no, but you're not understanding. I'm never ever running, like ever. And I was like, okay, so most people start out like that and then you jog. She's like, no, like ever. And she just signed up for the series with us to run, right? And
Oh,
she's been
wow.
running. And it's just incredible to see people really not only love running, but love being outdoors and remembering, right? It's the remembrance of our cultures and our roots of like, this is our lands, we belong here, we're supposed to be out here. And somewhere down the line, we were told that this is a scary place so that we could forget. And I'm glad we're done with forgetting, and it's been really cool to see that progress.
I love that you mentioned that and described it as it sometimes being a scary place. I think that there's such a beauty in how run clubs and run organizations really can hit home for a lot of people and hit a niche that sometimes we kind of underestimate, not, us, but the people who are outside getting, why do you run? What are you running from? All those questions we get asked all the time. But there
Hmm.
is something special that you guys have created there to where they do feel safe. And look, I don't like trail running myself, being completely candid.
Yeah.
However, I have considered it with the right circumstances. But you've got people who probably, I'd never ran out in the woods. I was just talking with Zach as well not too long ago about the same thing. But it's just like, I personally haven't. But if having the space to where, yeah, you still can belong here, you can do it at your pace with no pressure. I don't have to go out and barrel roll down the trees or nothing like that, but I can do it at that, at my fitness level. And you guys have created that there. And going on, having that success over a year and having that consistency, you have something special when people are calling you if it's running. Like, are you showing up today? That's a special niche
Yeah.
because sometimes people are, if it's rainy outside or so, "Ah, I ain't coming out." They're not coming. But the fact that they are yearning for that environment means that you guys have created something very unique. And I think that goes to the next point because you guys have always been, from when I've met you, you guys were very community oriented, which makes perfect sense on seeing the success of the Run Club, because I think the other capacity that you guys were operating in was doing efforts with Goo. And you guys, I believe there's a box that I have, and there was handwritten notes of, hey, thank you for coming out to Thierry. That meant something. I'm like, this is really nice. I feel, and then you'll put your picture in, and I'm like, I feel so special. It's like I haven't seen that from any of the partners, but you guys went above and beyond. And I think that's where the spirit of you guys are in community goes in. So my question to you is, why is that shows your community efforts in general. Why is that aspect important for both, the run club and the work that you do with Goo and beyond?
Yeah, I think first of all, shout out to Goo because and Celia and Teeter and the whole team there, they have been we call her our fairy Goo mother because she she loved it, by the way. She was like because when we started Sin Miedo, going back a little bit to access, right, to kind of tie it in with your question,
Mm-hmm.
we knew that we wanted to provide something for our runners, and we knew that it couldn't be a pair of shoes for everybody yet. Okay, sending that out
Call it out, claim it
yet.
out. I'm with it. I'm with it.
But yes, but we knew that we wanted to introduce them to, I guess, this life, right? And we knew that for a lot of our members, it could be, didn't want to assume that it was, but that it could be a barrier,
Mm-hmm.
especially because there's so many layers to our communities, especially right now, and all the
Yeah.
madness and tragedies that are happening across the US. It's just a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to contribute in some way to our community and still show them that this is possible, right? Because when you're thinking about paying your rent, feeding your family, or buying shoes and buying gels, right? It gets a little challenging to be like, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like, "But what if I give you the gels, or what if I give you the shoes, or what if I, right?" And so for us, Goo immediately we met them through the RIDC. So shout out again to the RIDC for those opening those doors for us. But we immediately clicked with Goo, and for us, it was the authenticity of how they show up, right? It wasn't just like, oh, let me give you a little sample of something so that then everybody can buy it, right? It was like, what do you need? And let me make room for you. And then through that, our members started to really find value in the product. And so that just kind of catapulted this relationship with Goo. And we were so very much fortunate to be asked to do a little bit of a tour for them through some of the retail stores that carry Goo to talk about the number one, if they were familiar with the RIDC or the Running Industry Diversity Coalition, and if they were familiar with the Goo Choose, which give back to the RIDC, and then were they regularly doing outreach to the community of color. And so it was really interesting to go out there and ask these questions and just kind of hit on, say, so what do you have going on that supports, the BIPOC community? And they were like, well,
Yeah,
I think,
talking
right?
about Tennessee, Arkansas, and
Yeah, yeah.
Texas.
We went to Tennessee,
Mm.
Arkansas, and Texas. And
Wow.
but it was really empowering for us as co-founders because we were like, you know what, we can have hard conversations. we can ask the right questions. And so
Mm-hmm.
through that, we realized that there were people out there that just were not educated, right? And so the aspect of community and outreach outside of access is also education and making sure that people have the tools and the avenues to get that information and then, you know, from there evolving. And once again, it goes back to access, and Glue really allowed that access to happen. And then furthermore, through their Glue Gives program, it's been really awesome because now, for example, coming up, we are going to be volunteering at a race for an organization called NICE. And what they do is they support the immigrant and the refugee community. And they're having a 5K. And so we're going to be handing out goo and, you know, just supporting them in that way and volunteering and doing, we could be running, but we were like, let's volunteer this time and be intentional. We're also going to be participating with the Juneteenth race and sharing the gulag there, right? And we're like, you know what? We get it. We have this much. Yes, we give it to our members, but all of these people are our members because one day that's how we've met a lot of our members.
Mm.
And so they'll come and like, hey, I remember you gave me these little gummy things. Those were really good, you know? And I was like, I promise it wasn't drugs. But they get excited. They get excited, and so that's been really awesome. And so because of that, our community has learned the value not just of community with each other, but also has gotten the opportunity to see like, yes, fueling is important. Yes, hydration is important. And to be honest, you know, it's really cool to see them feel all fancy, like we have a sponsor, you know, kind of thing. And they're like, they get all excited and pumped up, and you know, they'll come and say, I signed up for a race, hint, hint, you know.
Mm.
And so we try to do that. Sometimes we'll get members that come in. Recently, we had someone who came visited for the first time, and she said, I just signed up for my first marathon, and we're like, stay right here. And I came back with a big bag of glue, and I was like, to support your training efforts, you
Oh,
know, to hold
wow.
you accountable and help you. And then people are like, what? It's for me? Really? No, I just take like two or three. And I was like, no, take the whole bag. But that wouldn't be possible if we are not all working as a big community, right? Not just
Yeah.
us, but the brands, the organizations that are making these things possible. So community has been, I think, the glue for Sin Miedo. We've had parties. We had a Christmas party. We broke a piñata and piled up on top of everybody. We, you know, go out to eat together. People cook for us. I mean, and during the winter, people stayed with other people from the team because they lost power for a week.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, so community is incredibly important. I think in the aspect of creating safe spaces, absolutely. It has to feel like home. It has to feel like you belong once again. So it's been really awesome to experience that.
That's really cool. I mean, it makes sense just from again the nature of who you guys are. You've had a theme this whole time is access, and we've talked about it before, but I think that's again, it's so important for a lot of us in the community to keep that in mind to help remove that barrier. The box that you guys gave me is a good example. I've been able to take that to my respective communities. I bounce around different run clubs all around the city to help out and such, and I've been able to take that box. And we may have a long run. We have a crew called the Boathouse Crew that we do every Sunday, and I can take extra gels and like, hey, here, I know you don't have no nutrition because you're stubborn and for some reason you just don't get it. And I don't ask them why, but it's like, here are some things that someone gifted to me. I could invest back into you. And it, I think that just something as simple as nutrition, and you talked about it earlier, and even your 16-week program of educating them and setting them up and equipping them to be successful into this sport, whether it's trail running or road running, it says a lot about what you guys have accomplished in such, again, you guys are going into a year, but it feels like you guys have been doing this forever. And it's your heart in this is so admirable. So before all this is said and done, I want to make sure that I give you guys your flowers because
Thank you.
Sure.
you guys have done such phenomenal work in what you've created. You guys created such a culture to where people are, if y'all getting, someone's cooking for y'all, clearly I'm doing something wrong. But no,
Matter of
But
fact, this
no,
Sunday, if you would like to come down and run with us, we are going to be
listen,
going to
like
somebody's house immediately after to celebrate birthdays.
listen, like I love me some home cooked food, but no, it just speaks to the camaraderie and the fellowship that you guys have created. And I feel like I've been to a lot of different run clubs, whether it be in the city and out of the city. Usually when I travel, I try to go to different run clubs. And here, we have like 80, 90 plus run clubs. And that's one thing that I always find common across the good ones is that sense of community and that people belong as they are. And the fact that you guys have created a trail running group for people of color, I I think we have one group here in Columbus that does that. It's called Blacklit, and they go out and they go hiking and things of that nature. But it's good when I went to go visit them. It's good to see that representation. It's good that they go in and greet everybody and they make people feel, okay, hey, how are you doing? You belong here. Belonging somewhere, especially in this space that can be so intimidating for those who've never done it before, is something that we have to always be mindful of. But I applaud you two for not only creating that, but then continuing to create the opportunities for them to continue to be successful, to continue them to have success in their training, and then to be able to call you guys friends, sisters, brothers, the whole community. So for that, I applaud you. I thank you and I admire you. And I truly
Thank
do
you.
take inspiration from you guys. It's funny you mentioned a year because Safe Space is going into a year, I think in June or July, I think it is. And
Awesome.
it's never was created as a run club. It's not a run club. It's more so, celebrating others. And I've had you guys on the radar for a while, but I want to make sure that I always personally thank you guys for that. You guys don't have to, but you guys have put so much heart and care and time and soul into your community. So my hope, and I know that they probably are, that they replicate or reciprocate that to you guys and give you the exact same pouring into you, because it is a sacrifice and it's a choice that you guys do. But you guys love the community so much. So my hope, and yeah, I support y'all regardless, is that the community gives you the exact same love that y'all deserve for more than just this year, for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, this being a legacy that you guys have created. So thank you guys so much for what you do, truly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Because
of
honey, it's
course.
hard.
It is a lot of work.
Listen, if we can be
But we
real,
love it.
yes, it ain't no, it's not easy, but that's it's a sacrifice. And sometimes people see, they see just the output of how things are going. They see, the end result, but there takes a good bit to start from the beginning to that end result.
Mhm.
And the fact that you guys have put in, I know for a fact y'all have put in countless time, hours, days, weeks, months into this. But there's always been the heart of access, that access and community. And that just creates so many more opportunities that we really need to have in this space, especially for people of color, people, or, that we need more of that. We need to see others like us
Absolutely.
out there. And you guys have made that possible. With that, I have one last question for y'all. And you guys should be very versed in this one. I usually ask the really hard hitting questions at the end, but for y'all, I'm gonna make it a little easier. No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys have been walking into this space for so long. My heart has always been to those who are brand new into the space, who don't know how to navigate, who don't know what's going on. They come up to the run club one day. Um, what would be one piece of advice you would give a new runner or walker who's entering into this space?
I mean, for me, it's kind of like it's like the doors of the trail are open. Come as you are.
Mm,
Whatever condition that you're in, we can work with it. Um, we can help you get to wherever you desire to be. So just come as you are.
I love that. I love that.
I think for me, what I would say to someone new is that you're no longer alone. I think that a lot of times when people start running, they feel like even if they show up to a run club and people take off, that you're going to be by yourself. And sometimes you will, but at least for us, and I can speak for the both of us and Sin Miedo, for us, it's been really important to make sure people don't feel alone, that they don't feel left out, that they don't feel like singled out in any way. And I think that together, right, is something that, again, in our communities is not something we always see like we could, whether it's within our own family nucleus, whether it's, just brown versus black or whatever the dynamics might be. And sometimes we feel a little like disconnected. And so I think that all of that has been, once again, indoctrinated to us like this is how you're supposed to be. And I think that a lot of us are dismantling that right now. And everybody around us is like, what's happening? Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so that loneliness or that like not feeling understood because why do you want to go to the woods and run around? It's no longer something that we're tolerating in these spaces and being like, no, I'm also a person of color and I'm out here too, right? Sometimes people on the outside might make fun of someone or might be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And it's so awesome to know that there's plenty, I mean, there's so much room for more of us and we need to keep growing, but there's so many of us out here now changing that narrative and changing that mindset we don't belong out here. I remember when we had our 90-day celebration, and I went to my dad, right? My father, I look up to my father so much, and I shared with him, photos and videos of us running on trails, and like he's super into mushrooms, so I was like the mushrooms out there and all this stuff, and um, it was really heartbreaking to see his reaction because I was already like bracing myself for the, y'all are crazy. Like, what are you doing? You run? Like, you're walking or running? I had already like prepared my speech and everything. And he said to me, I'm so proud of you. And I was kind of like, and then he said, I've never been here before. I've never seen this
in real
like
life.
in real life. Like I've never been on the trail like that. And it just really made me think that that was also going to be me. I said no for forever to people like, I'm not
Wow.
doing it. Y'all are crazy, right? And so see, don't say no. You gotta come on because it's so much more deeper than just us, right? It's ancestral. So when you're out there you're no longer alone because you're with us, right? But you're reconnected to those roots of your ancestors, the earth, the plants, the animals, like things that we again forget. And so if somebody was coming for the first time, I would say like you're not alone. And even on the times you feel alone, we're right here. I think that's what I would say. And like Antoine said, with that, the trails are open. So come on down.
There's
We're
I
here for
love
you.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, again, I appreciate and I truly I don't say this lightly. I truly admire what you guys have done. I take notes and
Thank
what you
you.
guys have really created there is beautiful. So for those who are listening, I'm gonna try this one more time. Sin Miedo. Did I get it close?
There you go. Sin
Yeah,
miedo. Yep.
Sin Miedo. Okay. Oh, that
There you
felt
go.
right. That,
That's
that,
you
that
it.
there it
did.
That's
That was
is.
it.
it.
Which, by the way, it translates to without fear, right?
Ooh.
We probably should say,
Probably
if
should.
it's okay with you, take like 2 seconds to
Yes,
talk
no,
about
please.
what it means. So sin
Yeah.
miedo is Spanish for without fear, and
Mm.
we chose it in Spanish not because it's a Spanish speaking only group or we only welcome Spanish speakers, but because we wanted to create moments of learning and for people to choose to remember us, to not just be like, oh, they're the
Mm.
BIPOC trail runners. Oh, yeah, yeah, right? Like we wanted people to like have to make an effort to remember who we are. And it translates to without fear because historically and culturally, people of color have always had to operate with fear of something. And especially right now, there's so
Mm.
much fear in our
Mm-hmm.
communities. And so we wanted to offer a different perspective of what that fear is and hopefully not necessarily erase it because we can't erase that, but we
Yeah.
can transmute it into power and remind people that even when you're afraid that there's opportunity there, that you can show up, that you can take your power back, that you can take up space, whatever the case may be. And so we decided to, in the logo, the Adrinka symbol, if you can see it back here,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like a twist and turn. And so it symbolizes the twists and turns of life. And just like the
Oh.
trails, it twists and turns, but there's always exits, right? Your problems, the things you're going through, there's always a way. And so, I mean, that's just in a nutshell. There's so much symbolism in our logo, but that alone and being like, no matter what comes at you at life, like take it without fear, take it unapologetically and move forward and keep moving, keep going, right? And I mean, I'll be honest, our members use it against us all the time. They're like, hey, come on, sin miedo. But it's
Oh,
awesome. Or they'll do something, they're like, sin miedo. You know what I mean? And even in Spanish, there's another phrase that says, without fear to success, or sin miedo al éxito. And that's something that just, everything just kind of started to fall into place of with that name. And so we were like, you know what? Let's do it. And then we claimed that we're all going to be bilingual by, the end of 2026. We're getting there. We might need another year, but we're working on it. That
me
every,
too.
we try to like,
Yeah, been working on it for a while.
she's been working on it for a little while, but everybody gets excited about learning from each other's cultures and
Yeah.
languages, and we celebrate together all these things. And so, in order to do that, we have to let go of the fear of being different, the fear of offending someone, of because you wanted to ask a question. So it's not just on the trails; it's just a general, um, like encapsulating everything we can in life that might bring you some sort of discomfort and fear that you can take it on and you can move forward. So that's what it means.
I'm glad you shared that because that's actually there's a lot of depth to that logo. I never really because I'm glad you because I never would have thought all of that there, but it makes sense as you explain it. I just had a shoestring for mine, and that which worked out perfectly,
It
But
looks awesome.
It looks
It looks
good.
great.
I know. Shout out to Steph who designed the logo. Thank you so much because I tried to design it and it was not. I'm an IT guy, so everything was super technical and boxy. I'm like, let me find somebody in the arts to do this for me, but they hooked me up. But honestly, that mean it speaks again to the heart and spirit of what you guys have created to go in without fear. I love that name. I love that. There's so many runners I come across who are, who don't know how and they're intimidated. They're scared. They don't, I just was talking to someone who just finished their first half marathon. But I remember last year I ran with them for a part of a 10K. And that whole time she was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, just stay patient. Give yourself that grace and trust in yourself. And when we finished, she's like, I didn't know I could. And that's the part that makes all the difference. And I can assure that you guys have that experience all the time because you've created a place to where people can express that and be able to operate into that space and have no fear to try new things. So
That's right.
it's so beautiful. I will again, I thank you guys so much for taking your time out. And again, for those who are listening, check out their profile. You will walk away inspired. I can guarantee that. And again, congratulations on this approaching year. I will check with the wife and see where our finances are at because I would
Yes,
love to come down to Tennessee and just be in y'all's presence and support that. But
that would be
truly,
amazing.
I'm so honored and blessed to know y'all, and I'm hoping for the next time we can cut up another dance floor, wife included,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
and have a
Yes.
great time. Thank you both so much.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you
man.
for having us. Thank you.